Hi, I'm RJ Murdock, and welcome to our Emerald Coast community. It's a show that highlights the people, the organizations, and the businesses that are making a difference on the Emerald Coast here, or what we call the Panhandle of Florida. I have with me as our guests today, I have Dee, Valerie, and Drew, and they are with a Christian radio talk show on 91.1 Psalms Radio, and the name of the show is called Life Issues, Real Answers. Okay, so Dee,
yes,
what is the show about and who is it for?
You know, we're solving life's issues with the power of God's Word. And we want to reach the people in our community, in our region, that may not go to church. And they need some life issues. We all go through life issues. We all go through struggles. And we are solution oriented. We love to solve problems. So that's why we do the radio show.
Tell me about the hosts here, and we have Valerie. You've had some other guest hosts as well.
Yes, Valerie Peterson is a licensed mental health counselor with Destin Counseling. She is our regular co-host. Lorenzo Bromell, who is a former NFL player, he is our regular co-host. He's not with us today, but with us today we have Drew Powell, who is the
radio personality.
There you go.
That's what we have.
The radio personality.
Well, yeah, I would say he's actually, for your show particularly, he's the man behind
Yes.
the mics, for the
Behind
most
the
part,
curtain.
behind the curtains, making sure that everything sounds good and is going out to the audience.
Yes, it's a 30-minute show every week, and sometimes we have a guest. Sometimes it's just the three of us where we are tackling a life issue. We have issues like depression, abuse, addiction, substance abuse.
Helicopter parenting. Last week we did a great show called How to Get Out of a Funk. We all get into funks, right?
Yeah.
So we could go on and on. Issues that men face, the antidote to depression, hurt by the church. We have some great shows. We're really focusing on specific life issues that we all face.
So tell me a little bit about your role, because you are actually a licensed
Mental health counselor. Yes, I think I'm bringing, and I know Dee can add to this, but just kind of bringing in a mental health perspective, but bringing in also the biblical perspective, because God really does have answers to our life issues. So it has been really exciting to be part of this, that Dee has asked me to be part of this.
So what was the brainchild? What was it that kind of got you to kind of come up with doing the radio show?
I wrote a book called Activating the Promises of God. And in that book, there's 130 current day topics. And then I compiled 1,600 scriptures to tell you what God has to say about those topics. I've walked through a lot in my life, as well as many of our audience members. And there's a right way to solve a problem and a wrong way to solve a problem. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to go around that same bush time after time again. And it seemed like in my former life, before I was a Christian, I kept going around that same tree, so to speak, and I was never really resolving the issues or that problem. And it really takes God's Word. God has a lot to say about a lot of the current day issues that we struggle with. And I just want to see God's people walk in the power of His Word. I want to see them walk in victory over the circumstances that come up in their lives.
And you've been doing this for about how long now?
Well, May of 2016, we started the radio show. So it's almost 2 years. We're coming up on 2 years, and it's been very successful. Fortunately, WPSM can be reached online. You can go to WPSM.com and listen. So now we have a lot of out-of-state listeners. And the show has grown, the listening audience has grown, and people are tuning in because they are finding solutions to their everyday problems.
Do you have an example of someone you were able to actually be able to help that really stands out without necessarily having to mention names? So that will protect the name from the innocent.
I am touched because, the different places that I go during the week, that people will come up to me and say, thank you. that show really, this show really touched me. And actually, I was telling Dee and Drew that this past week, several people came up to me and said, thank you for the show, How to Get Out of a Funk. It really has helped me. You know, Lorenzo brings a male perspective. You know, here Dee and I are two females, to have this huge godly man coming from a man's perspective. It is pretty amazing to hear from his perspective how to get out of difficult situations, working through grief, working through depression, because men and women, RJ, are wired differently. So it's nice that we have Lorenzo balancing us out.
I appreciate you guys being able to come on the show here. Now, if anybody wanted to be able to check out the show, when does it happen, and or when they can find out when the next show is going to be? What are some of the
The show is every Friday at 11 a.m. on WPSM, and it's 91.1 FM if you're in the Destin area, or WPSM.com online. You know, we partnered with WPSM on this project, on this radio project, because we knew that partnering with a Christian station was the audience. That was our target audience. Mm-hmm. There's been so many times in my life where the only positive voice has been from a song, that voice of encouragement. You know, sometimes we're around people that are not able to encourage you the way you need to be encouraged, but it seems like there's always a song that can speak into your life and encourage you at just the right time. And that's why, you know, we partnered with The Positive Choice, which is WPSM. They have been in this area for over 30 years. They've been a Christian staple on the Emerald Coast for many years, and the integrity of that station just speaks for itself.
And it makes perfect sense, because you're focusing on a psalm. They are Psalm 91.1. Yeah. It's just, everything is all just kind of like the synergism is all working together here. And so, Drew, they're a part of your station, and you know, the whole Psalm 91.1, and you guys are also very inspiring as far as Christian music and being a positive voice in our community. Can you tell me about where you guys are located? And
yeah, RJ, thank you. I appreciate you having us on the show, and it's an honor to have Life Issues, Real Answers on WPSM, because we're primarily a music station, but we do have some talk shows. And I love how, you know, for that half hour, we're able to open up the phone lines if people have questions, or the issues that they're talking about are very applicable to what's going on today in people's lives. And I think it's good to just kind of, all right, guys, you know, these songs are entertaining, they're full of God's Word, but let's talk about some real issues, and let's see what God's Word says about those issues. And the station, we're now over there at Harbor Walk Village, right on the Destin Harbor, and these ladies were a big part of encouraging us, hey, let's see if that place is open over there. And it happened to be, and God kind of orchestrated events for us to be there, and it's the best location that we've ever been in the whole 33 years we've been on the air. And we've done some concert series, Unified concert, where we honor churches and community and our country, and right there at the main stage at Harbor Walk Village. So it is just such a blessing to have these ladies on the station and have the show on the air, but to be right there in such a place where people are walking by and, oh, what's that? What's 91.1? Well, let me tell you, here's a bumper sticker, and you can put it on your car and take us back home with you and listen online. So we really appreciate you being a part of the radio station. I know God's got some really good things in store for us.
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming in to be our guests for today's show and letting the audience know about your radio talk show. And hopefully someday we'll be able to see you guys do your talk show online as a video webcast as well, doing simultaneous both on the radio and that. So that would be kind of great. So we have, there's some potential for some major future plans. I'm hoping.
Absolutely. We love growth.
Okay, well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on our Emerald Coast Community.